people get talked into joining a cult. If you think that cult members are desperate or weak, you are easier to recruit into a cult than you think. Because just that little belief that you are immune is the first thing that starts preventing you from having your guard up. So cults recruit people who are functional and thoughtful and curious and even intelligent, socially intelligent, that good people can get recruited into a cult. But cults recruit people who quietly feel like something is missing and feel alone for noticing it. And what's weird is that everybody with an IQ over 100 feels that way, that there's something missing. And everybody feels like they're the only one feeling it. This is a universal trait that most people just may not be willing to admit. The first feelings that someone gets as they join a cult. And I want you to process what I just said. To get good at influence or persuasion or leadership, to make the world a better place, to change the world, you should be thinking in terms of what the other person is going through in their mind instead of what the operator is doing to someone. Please consider that difference of understanding what someone else is going through versus what I am doing to somebody. The beginning, when somebody gets talked into joining a cult, this is the moment when nothing really feels dangerous yet in that person's mind. I wouldn't say that this is a formula with steps, but I would say these are the basic phases that people go through. I've spent some time with cult recruiters and super interesting people. Number one, let's call it setting. There's a ton of people out there that think that cults start by shifting your beliefs, and that's actually the opposite of what happens. It has nothing to do with your beliefs. It starts with where you are when the conversation takes place. It could be a retreat, maybe a gym, a volunteer group, some kind of seminar you're going to, a mastermind. Maybe it's church, or maybe it's church adjacent. Maybe it's an online group or some kind of chat room that feels calmer than the rest of the internet for you. So these places aren't random. I want to assure you they're not random. They already filter human behavior for openness. So we feel more like we can let our armor down. We can be more vulnerable in certain places. So if you choose to be there, your nervous system is already decided at the moment that you walk in. Your nervous system already decides this is safe, this is relevant, this is worth paying attention to. So most people think persuasion happens in words. About 95% does not happen in words. It is context. Persuasion is always going to be context. And context tells your body how hard it needs to defend you. And in these environments, it tells you that it doesn't need to defend itself very much. So number two is regulation. This is the first interaction, and the first interaction with a cult recruiter is not persuasive. It is a regulating event where we're regulating something inside of us. Something's being regulated. So it's small things that happen. It's eye contact that lasts just a little bit longer than you might have expected. Maybe a voice that doesn't rush. It's somebody who doesn't seem to need anything from you at all. Your shoulders drop a little bit, your breathing slows down, your internal noise goes quiet a little bit. So if you've ever had a thought in your head of, I don't know why, but I just feel calm around this person, that wasn't you getting some kind of intuition. That was your body deciding the person doesn't feel like a threat. And I'm not saying that this means that you're being manipulated. It means that you're with a good communicator. Some of the later stuff might mean manipulation. But once your body decides that, your mind stops asking certain questions. And I want to say that again. The moment that your body decides that something feels safe, your mind will stop asking questions, certain types of questions. There's all this talk on the internet about love bombing and like how cults do this love bombing. They're not flattering you at this stage. They're not selling you on some idea. They're recognizing something that you have never really said out loud. They're going to say, I can tell you don't think like most people. You seem like a person who's always noticed patterns that other people miss. You've probably felt out of place in more than one situation in your life. So the uncomfortable part about this is even when you know that sentence could apply to other people, even when you know that it's kind of a cold reading sentence, it still lands and it still has an effect on you, because being fully seen and not judged, is more addictive than being right. Your brain is not asking the question, is this accurate? What your brain is really asking is, do I want this to be true? That's the most important distinction that you could ever teach your children, is the difference between your brain asking, is something accurate, or does the brain want this to be true? And the moment somebody touches something that you already believed about yourself, your brain quietly marks that person, or puts a little tag on that person, as somebody that's very safe to listen to, which means that your defense systems don't come up automatically by default. So number 4, weaponized identity. And you see this all over the internet too, even with these cult experts, that they're going to present you a villain. We hate these people. These people are disgusting. All this, that's not true. No cult in the world starts with a villain, but it does start with a type of person. So they get you to agree that there's another type of person, and then there's you. They might say, most people don't get this. Most people are asleep at the wheel. They sleep through their life. Most people trade comfort for certainty. Most people live on the surface. Those are all true statements. That's not me manipulating you. That's me saying things that I know you're going to agree with, because there's people out there. But I want you to notice what just happened. Nobody told you what to believe. What I told you with those statements is who you are not, and you don't want to be most people. So the agreement forms without any argument, and the alignment happens without any decision. You're not pushing away from somebody, you're just feeling yourself. You're feeling this feeling inside yourself. Step to the side. This little protective part of you is just kind of stepping over. So if all I do is to get you and me to agree to have a common type of person, that we are not that person, I automatically gain instant alignment without you ever realizing that it's happening. So number 5 is cognitive dissonance invitation. They're not inviting you to some big meeting and saying that we're going to burn some incense and do some crazy. They're just implying something. They're going to say that. They're going to say this isn't for most people. Not everybody makes it to this phase. Some people just aren't built for this kind of thing. And suddenly the question isn't, do I want to do this? It's, what does it say about me if I walk away? Now my identity's being threatened. We see all the sales training stuff on the internet about scarcity, sale in Sunday, 12 seats left, 12 tickets left, whatever. It's effective, but scarcity doesn't pull you forward. Identity is what pulls you forward. Look, I know you don't want to watch another ad. I don't blame you, but I have seen this change too many lives to just let you scroll past it. There's a moment that most people have where something feels off in a conversation and we ignore it. And it's not because you're wrong, but it's just because we don't trust what we're seeing. And that's where all of this starts. NCI level 1 isn't about learning a bunch of tricks. It's about finally understanding what you've been noticing your whole life already. You start to see behavior a lot more clearly. The body language, the emotional shifts, the intent that's behind someone's actions. So you don't guess anymore. You read what's going on. You understand what's going on. And you can actually respond with precision. Most people ignore what they see. This is where you learn to trust it. NCI 1 is a foundational course in behavior profiling, and the link is right down in the description. And then comes number 6, which is the ask. And this is the most dangerous moment of the entire process, the ask right here. And this is where the person will ask them, can you show me that thing that you mentioned earlier? What's that really about? Can you send me that? So the question feels super friendly, interested, and genuinely curious about something you're interested in or something you're smart about. It's voluntary, it feels harmless, but the moment that you ask, something flips. Person's asking the recruiter, So now you're no longer evaluating, you're participating. Your brain now automatically labels the next step as self-directed, that it came from within you. So all humans protects the paths that they believe they chose themselves. So from this point on, there's no more recruiting happening. They're getting you to a point where you're essentially doing something that I would just call self-investing. So you're doubling down on something that you've agreed to, yourself, who you are. In number 7, we have definitions. And in the definitions part, beliefs don't get attacked. The cult wants you to outgrow 1 or 2 beliefs. So the old world that you lived in starts feeling a little bit clumsy. Language feels cleaner when you're here in this cult, sharper, it's more honest. The old world starts to sound dull and boring. They have language that makes your regular life sound childish. So cults are not just like deleting your reality. All they're really doing is relabeling, renaming, and redefining all of that stuff. So if I can shift language, if a cult can shift language, the thinking follows automatically. And this is what's happening on a national scale for most of us. And I want this to be a huge warning that you think this is a video about somebody joining some cult somewhere in San Bernardino. This is national. And you don't notice this happening. You notice that some thoughts feel easier than others. And that's the trick. They're easier to accept, easier to adopt, easier to compare to the world around you. Which brings us to number 8, which is isolation. Nobody's going to tell you to cut people off. What they're going to do is prepare you for what other people are going to say. When you go back into your life, your family's not going to understand. Your wife, your husband, they're not going to understand. They're going to try to pull you back. It's very seductive. They're afraid. They're stuck in the old system. And this isn't isolation yet, but it's preemptive invalidation. So when those people eventually question you, the spouse, the co-workers, the friends that you hang out with, their concern feels predictable and you feel clever for having predicted it. All of this makes it super easy to stop taking the people in your life seriously. And then we get to number 9, weaponized morality. So eventually you're getting pulled into a cult and it stops being interesting and it starts being super important. All the stuff we're talking about matters. This helps people. This is so much bigger than personal preference. This is about truth. And the moment that you get morality to enter the room, logic loses authority. And disagreement, when we used to I'm going to disagree with an idea because that felt intellectual to us. Now disagreement feels unethical. So doubt starts to feel selfish. If you're doubting the idea, you must be a selfish POS. Questioning what somebody's saying starts to feel like you're betraying the cause. That's the moment that leaving the cult becomes super hard. There's a leader, there's doctrine you have to follow, you're isolating yourself. And number 10 is the commitment. And in sales, this is called the close. No one ever says the word join. They say that you're one of us now. You finally get it. You've done the work faster than everybody else. All those sentences, they're not very dramatic, but they all of them sound like a verdict, like the judgment's being passed in a positive way. Because now, leaving the cult, if I want to stand up and leave the cult, it doesn't feel like I'm changing my mind. It feels like I'm betraying who I have become. And this is the biggest piece. And if you look at a narcissistic relationship, it goes through this entire exact process, pretty much verbatim, with a spouse. It's a cult of 2. Well, it's a cult with 1 member. And then we get to number 11, is the social coffin. They ask you to do one small thing. You've been through so much. You've been through all these things. We've talked about aliens and all this other that we talk about. The only thing I want you to do is share this. What I want you to do is explain this to somebody. And there's somebody here that's brand new and you're senior to them now. So what I want you to do is correct their misunderstanding that they have about this. And I want you to defend it. This is the real trap. This is the fastest way to believe something is to explain it out loud. The fastest way to believe something is to explain it out loud. Your mouth convinces your brain more efficiently than evidence. So once you've defended something, you do not want to be wrong anymore. And then we get to step 12. It's called sunk social cost. So the final lock, and people are going to say, okay, so Chase is talking about the final step. This is where I believe something. This is where my beliefs are shifting. The final lock is in cost. And it's not money first. The cost is consistency, or your pride. The story that you've already told other people about who you are as a person. Walking away now is not just going to make you wrong, or whatever they want to call you. Walking away is going to mean that you have to admit that you carried something false long enough for it to cost you something totally real. So most people don't leave after that. This is because they're cornered. They're painted into a corner by their past certainty. And let me wrap with this. There's a part here that nobody likes. If at any point you thought, yeah, but I would see all this coming, that's the hook. And that should be a warning to you. There's not a cult out there that's going to be out there stealing your freedom from you. There's no cult in the world that wants to steal your freedom. They all want you to feel stupid for wanting it back. That's the cult.
The world is breathing, a fragile sound. No echoes here, on sacred ground. A quiet pose, a steady beat, the truth we feel in simple heat. Barefoot steps on hallowed ground. A sacred rhythm we have found out.
The world just breathes and I can feel it. A perfect promise can't conceal it. Just shadows leaning on the light. Another beautiful quiet night.
The past is gone, but we remain, washing over all the pain. A simple truth, a feeling pure, a soft connection to endure.
The world just breathes and I can feel it. A perfect promise can't conceal it. Just shadows leaning on the light. Another beautiful quiet night.